It's Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast with Ryan Enjoys Wrestling and your boy MW. Oh, and this is our WWE edition where we're going to talk all things money in the bank. Must be the money. Raw, NXT. We got some segments. It was a jam-packed week again. We got thumbs up, thumbs down, because you know the two dudes with thumbs attitudes are going to rate these matches. Ryan,
right.
You excited? Are you ready?
I am, man. I'm ready. Let's do this.
Hit it.
Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and the attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E. The two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
Woo. Controversy, new names, and returns. Oh my, it was a week of pro wrestling. We're going to break it down from all the realness to all the nonsense. But let's start off with the ratings. Are you ready?
Always,
Let's get
man.
into some two dudes or two thumbs with attitudes. Let's get into it with our Money in the Bank review. This is what we are going to do: a thumbs up or a thumbs down to all 5 matches on the card. That's right, they added a match. And thumbs up means it's 80% or better. Thumbs down means it's a C or worse. So even if it gets a thumb down, it does not make the match bad. It just means we didn't think it was above average. First match of the night is the women's Money in the Bank. Naomi comes out as the winner, which we both predicted. Cha-ching. Ryan, thumbs up, thumbs down.
I'm going very strong thumbs up. I thought this match was really well done. I feel like all the women showed out. They all had great spots. They all had great moments. The right person won. It was a fantastic way to open the show. Unfortunately, there weren't a lot of people there. You could see a lot of the empty seats, which, I know there was a lot of stuff going on in Los Angeles in the news right now. So shout out and prayers up to everyone that's going on out with all the ICE raids and stuff. I don't know if that impacted.
Wait, huh? That's made up. Haven't you seen on TikTok? It's made up. We're just making it up. It's actually peaceful out here. Nothing's going on. Have you not seen
Right. Yeah. Of course.
Us Californians, we make everything up.
Yeah, of course. You guys aren't even a state apparently, but yeah.
No, sir.
But yes, but I think this was a solid way to open the show. Naomi showed out. She was the right person to win. Fantastic performance from all 6 women involved in this match.
The other thing with that too is that the green lights at the Intuit Stadium, Intuit Dome, throw it off and make it look like it's empty because the lights are reflecting.
Yeah.
It's like you've ever been in a play, a stage performance, and the lights are shining on you. You can't see shit. That's the same. They do that on purpose. It's like that's the way they do so if you watch Clippers games, which I'm a Clippers fan, so I watch Clippers game all the time, it's the same damn, it always looks empty, and it's not.
It's so aggravating. It's kind of annoying, to be honest.
It is,
and I noticed the WWE turned them off as the show went on.
People were, all the AEW morons were like, oh gosh, WWE, no one's there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it was really just noticeable just how, I'm glad they turned them off because it was real aggravating having those lights everywhere.
Yeah, basketball game, it doesn't matter if you see people or not. A wrestling event, you kind of need that crowd hype. But Naomi winning, thumbs up. Match itself, thumbs up. I heard some people say online that not enough happened. I don't know why every Money in the Bank has to have 75 oh shit moments. I thought every single girl showed out. All 6 women had a moment, had a chance of winning, had a big time thing. I loved it. Naomi winning is the only way that it made sense. Yeah, man, thumbs up all the way. Way to kick off the show. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, it was a very solid opener.
All right, next up, we got the match that wasn't announced until the AAA event a couple hours beforehand, but one, Dominik Mysterio retains his IC title by beating Octagon Jr. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
I'm going to go very fringe thumbs down. It was a good match, not a bad match. I didn't care about this match. And obviously WWE didn't care about this match because they announced it the day of the show. And I don't like it when they do that because, you know, you're hyped for the 4 matches and then they throw this one on there, and that's what it felt like. It felt like this is a filler. This is a random match. This is the potty break after the ladder match. Like that's exactly how it felt. This is the match that you go and get beer or go to the concession stands. And, you know, I hate that for Dominik because he's on a really crazy run. But he showed out. He continues to show out. But the match itself just kind of fell flat for me. So very fringe, thumbs down.
Well, the match was also 9 minutes long.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have even, but I thought about it, but there's no way in hell I am ever going to give my doppelganger a thumbs down. So it's a very fringe thumbs up just because Dominik was in it. He won. I got to see his presence, and I got to see Liv Morgan. Thumbs up for me. But
I will say it was the right decision having him win. I texted you. I was like, they're going to have him drop this title, aren't they? And I was really nervous because, you know, no heel voluntarily puts their title on the line. No heel's like, hey, you know what? I'll challenge you at Money in the Bank, and guess what? I'll even put this on the line. Like I was like, they're going to have him. They're going to make a statement. They're going to shock us by giving us a new IC champion. I'm glad they didn't go that route.
No heel is like Dominik Mysterio, my friend. He will be the longest reigning IC champion of all time.
He better be.
All right. Yeah. Next up, Becky Lynch defeats Lyra Valkyria to win and become the new Intercontinental Champion. It puts some damn prestige on that belt's name. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs all the way up. This was a fantastic match, start to finish. Even the ending with the having to raise her hand, you know, Becky Lynch being like, you need to take me to all 4 corners and do it there. And then Lyra, suplexing her immediately afterwards. And even Wade Barrett on commentary was hilarious, basically saying that Lyra's being a poor sport and a bad loser. It was just good stuff all the way around. Everything about this was good. Becky Lynch winning the Intercontinental Championship is only going to elevate that title even more than it already was. And I think she's going to hold this title for quite a while.
Yes, sir. Well said. Well said. Becky Lynch winning was what needed to happen. This is thumbs all the way up. She has made Lyra Valkyria a better wrestler. Every match, like she said, she has had with her has been Lyra's best match. And I even like Lyra. The whole stipulation was stupid, and they made it work. She held her hand up on each one. She did her part. She's a good guy. She did it, and then she beat her up afterwards. She had a right to do that. Fantastic stuff. I loved it. Banger to banger, the whole match. Becky, we'll get into it on Raw, but man, this IC title is about to have some fun finally.
Yeah, no, it's going to be exciting to see what they do with it.
Yeah. All right. Men's Money in the Bank did not close the show. Makes no sense. Why would the women's open and the men's not close? But I guess it's because we found out a little something afterwards. But nonetheless, Seth Rollins wins it. People are mad. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
I am going to go very fringe thumbs up. I thought this was a good match. Thought it was a little overbooked there at the end. I thought too much was going on. Too much of something doesn't always necessarily mean it was a good thing. But at the same time, the match itself was good. I mean, Seth Rollins winning, I don't think he needs the victory. I don't think he needed the win, but I think he was the right man to win at the end of the day. But everybody showed out. El Grande Americano did his thing. We got the turn from Jacob Fatu onto Solo Sikoa. I didn't really like the way they did that. I wish that would have gone on a little bit longer. I feel like they rushed that to put some, we heard Solo trash talking Jacob on SmackDown like a 90s sitcom, and Jacob heard the whole thing. The camera cuts to Jacob's face, and he looks like he's about to cry. And then 90s sitcom, they play some sappy music and goes to commercial, and that's exactly what happened on SmackDown. And then the next night he turns on him and says he hates him. They should have dragged that out a little bit longer, but even Seth's cronies got in on the action, which was fun to watch and fun to see. I didn't like that there was no CM Punk comeuppance. I didn't like that there was no Sami Zayn. I didn't like that there was no return of Roman Reigns to prevent Seth Rollins from coming out. It was like it made what happened on the previous episode of Raw completely irrelevant and completely useless. And we'll talk about that when we get into Raw as well. But all in all, it was a good match. Definitely not the best Money in the Bank ladder match I've ever seen, and not the best ladder match that we've had this year. I still think the TLC match that the Street Profits were in earlier was better. Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens at the Rumble was way better, but this wasn't bad by any stretch. It was a good match.
I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought it had a lot of cool moments in it. I give it a thumbs up for sure. And I don't know if you haven't heard or not, but Roman Reigns is fired from the WWE. He's not
of course. How could I be so?
TKO needed to save a couple extra $1 million for their quadruple billion-dollar company just so they could make it ends meet over here. But yeah, I was surprised by CM Punk because life's eye for an eye, homie. And Seth Rollins cost him his Money in the Bank opportunity. Wouldn't it have cost his Money in the Bank opportunity? But maybe they didn't believe in Solo and hoping he would win or not. I know the whole internet was just blowing up about LA Knight not winning. I thought there was a 0% chance LA Knight was winning going into this. Wrestling's all about pushing. I know that we are stuck in these AEW days where you can just grab a guy and throw him in. And we'll talk about that on NXT too, where we're just like, oh, you're title match. You're winning Money in the Bank. That's not how it goes, man. If you're not being pushed, you can feel the vibe or not, right? The vibe was going Solo or Seth, and they just chose Seth. I think Seth will make the most sense in the long run. I also agree that the Jacob Fatu turn was way too early. It also dragged on a lot. Like Solo climbed up the ladder and then forgot he was supposed to hug him and then came back down and hugged him. Then climbed back up the ladder and then came back down. I was like, dude, just climb up if he was going to grab you, just climb up the damn ladder like normal speed. Why did you have to stop 100 times? Nonetheless, good match. I do think in the long run, the right man won. I think we're getting too hyped up on this whole Money in the Bank needs to be an up-and-comer because if you look back at the history, right, the women's is 100% cash-in rate. The men's is like a 70 whatever percent cash-in rate. Minus John Cena, who shouldn't have won it that year. It made no sense. Every person who hasn't cashed in was them taking a gamble on an up-and-comer, right? Just look at the track record of whether it's Austin Theory, whether it's Damian Sandow, whether it was Baron Corbin. We give these people this opportunity, and then it's like, well, shit, you only have a year, and they're not even being booked on that level yet, and now all of a sudden we're just going to give it to them. So I know I heard all these rambles about stop giving it to people who are already at the Money in the Bank briefcase is not a make you moment. That's not what it is. It's the history of time. Was Edge not over when he was RVD not over? Was Seth Rollins was not over? These people were already established when they won it. That might have been their first title win. It might have been their first, but they were already over, if you get what I mean. It wasn't just we shouldn't have just given it to Carmelo Hayes. That doesn't make any sense. He's not there yet. And so then they're going to end up fumbling the ball because they're not confident enough in them to win the championship. So this is the Money in the Bank is not that kind of, it's like the King of the Ring too.
And I think people just continuously talk out of both sides of their mouth in the internet wrestling because, LA Knight, he's forever ruined now because he's lost 3 straight Money in the Banks. What does he have to do? What does he have to do to get a title shot? What does he have to do to get the opportunities? Naomi just won Money in the Bank, and she's been in 7 ladder matches unsuccessfully. And here she is. She's better than ever. So it just they just proved the IWC wrong by having Naomi win after 7 appearances. LA Knight's going to be fine. He's going to be fine.
100%. I fully agree with you. All right, main event. You ready?
Yes.
All right. Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso defeat Logan Paul and John Cena, and we get the return of R-Truth to help Cody and Jey win. Thumbs up or thumbs down. And I mean return loosely. He was gone for 6 days. 7 days? Not a return.
If he even left at all, we don't.
He
the
didn't
still,
leave. Yeah, he did not leave. Yeah,
the jury's still out on that. But I'm going very fringe thumbs up on this as well. I thought it was Logan Paul continues to show that he belongs in WWE. Everything he does is gold. The thing with the drone where he threw it out there and then he caught it that was really cool. The flip off from the rope through the table was amazing. Just everything he's done is fantastic. And then Cody Rhodes getting the return of Ron Killings, which the debut of Ron Killings in WWE, I should say. The new gimmick, the serious attitude that looks like we're getting, and him beating up John Cena with the title. I thought it was all very, very well done, and it was a great way to end the show. And at first I was like, why is this match main eventing? This makes no sense. It made me think that maybe we're going to get a cash in from Seth Rollins, or maybe we're going to get the return of The Rock because his mom was in the audience. They were in LA. They were going to further that storyline. They've been referencing him a lot on TV lately. And it turns out it was Ron Killings who was the difference maker. And I thought it was a great way to close out the show. It was just a new 53-year-old star was born. And we'll continue that on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, it's a thumbs up because the match itself was good, mainly because of Logan Paul. He always carries it, but everyone did their part. R-Truth returning adds into that, returning wink, wink. Here's the thing. I don't want to drag this out for too long about the work and not a work. Key things in wrestling, right? Number one, if they say it's not a work, it's a work. That's been the history forever. Number two, he was gone for 6 days. If he truly got fired and they brought him back due to popular demand, he was gone. He would have been gone a lot longer, maybe a few months to build it up. This is not the same as Cody Rhodes or Bryan Danielson. It wasn't even close. They chanted it like for 3 minutes on an episode of Raw. And then on SmackDown, John Cena had already embraced it and talked about it, which was hinting at the fact. Remember, too, that R-Truth wore a Ron Cena shirt. So they were already hinting at the fact. It smells like a work because everything happened so quickly. Also, it just is like mind-boggling to me, too, that everybody who was saying that if you think it's a work, you're a Triple H, slave or whatever, that you believe anything he says. Triple H bringing back R-Truth makes him look better than it being a work because it shows that he's a good person and he understands if the crowd isn't liking it, I made a bad decision, which we all do, but I learned from my mistake and I bring him back. So if I was truly a Triple H nut hugger, I would believe that it wasn't a work because I'd be like, see, he's a good guy. He didn't want to resign him. He realized that people still love him, so he's going to bring him back. That makes him look better than it being a work. So stop that. That defense is already thrown out the window. But nonetheless, I don't want to talk about it all day. He's back. That's all that matters. And the best part about it is when he wrestled John Cena to begin with, on this podcast, on social media, I stated if he's going to do this, he has to get rid of the laughing gimmick. He was that person before. He's been and we'll talk about it on Raw, but it looks like we're going that way. So
yeah, for sure.
I think all of this was planned, but nonetheless, thumbs up.
It was
easy. A fantastic way to end it too.
Yeah, 100%. And it was 100% of work. All of it was, Ron Killings tweeted the day that he was released. Turns out that they didn't renew his contract. Why is he saying he's released? Because he has a problem with the establishment. Now he's saying that it's not a work. But Triple H said it was part of the show, and Ron Killings says no, it wasn't. Why is he saying that? Because he has a problem with the establishment. His son even got involved because his son. Yes, his son is like, no, like this is all part of the story. They got Nick Khan involved. I'm like, no, stop.
Yeah.
Like, just knock it off. But I'm excited with the direction. R-Truth needed to drop the serious or the funny gimmick, and looks like we're getting that. And I can't wait to see what they do with it.
And we'll talk about that on Raw. But nonetheless, work or not, Ron Killings not being in WWE was not going to hurt WWE's business, bottom dollar stories or not. But him being back in a sense where he's going to get a real push, thank God. I'm all for it. Absolutely. So let's talk about it. Man. Monday Night Raw, Ron Killings came out when we figured finally was introduced that he is Ron Killings. He jumps onto the announcer's table, cuts them off, and basically announces that he is no more a joke. He's not here to be laughed at. He's here to be taken seriously. He's the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. He is Ron damn Killings. He cut his braids off. I thought he was going to shave his head, but I guess he just cut it now. His new hair is just like shorter braids. I don't know. But nonetheless, he cut off his hair because that's the new transformation. He was on that awful podcast with Bully Ray where he stated that he ain't no joke. This is who he is, which is making it more like it was a work. But nonetheless, I was excited. And this was probably the best real promo he's had maybe ever because he doesn't really get a chance to do promos. But I just think it's crazy because all these young kids who are commenting about it being not a work are the same ones who have never seen this R-Truth. And that's why I laugh because us oldies and us people have been watching, We've seen this, been there, done that, and I'm glad he's back. I just hope that, like, where's he going, right? He's not the king of the ring unless he's the
mystery person,
added mystery person, and then he wins it, which would be probably the best booking you could possibly do, business sense. Throw him in the king of the ring and have him win it, and then face
wrestle
off
John Cena
at SummerSlam. Because, like I told you, he can wrestle John Cena and be taken seriously if he's not a joke. As soon as he turned, now he looks like he could beat John. That's all it takes. People forget that. It just takes one thing to make us, as the viewers, believe somebody can beat somebody. So yeah, great moment. Great moment. Yeah.
Yeah, so far that might be the promo of the year. And it wasn't a 30-minute thing. It wasn't a back and forth between two people. It was the introduction of a new character and a new direction for R-Truth, Ron Killings, and it's probably the best he's ever been. I remember back in 2011 when he was a heel, and he kind of had the split personality thing going, and it makes me wonder if they're going that direction again. Because Little Jimmy started off as like a figment of his imagination, and that's who he was talking to. That was making him do all the bad things that he was doing to John Morrison, and then eventually John Cena and everything. And then he failed a drug test, I think, and they kind of fizzled out. But he got fired by Triple H back then. That led to the strike. It led to the wrestlers walking out. It brought Vince McMahon back into power. I mean, he wrestled The Rock at Survivor Series. So like R-Truth has been a serious character and a serious heel before. So, but I have no doubt that this Ron Killings that we're getting is probably what we got in TNA, but probably turned up to the nth degree. So I'm excited to see it. It was a fantastic promo. And yeah, I think we'll be talking about this for years to come.
Heck yeah. Also, this Monday Night Raw was the best Monday Night Raw in quite some time that we remember. Did you notice something about this Raw that was different from other Raws? Do you know? I'm throwing this out of the blue. Did you notice something different about this Raw? I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but when I tell you, you're going to be like, yeah. There was somebody missing from this Monday Night Raw. Oh, that's right, Pat McAfee. Wade.
Oh, right. Yeah,
stepped in for Pat McAfee, and all of a sudden, this Raw was good. There wasn't a loudmouth person shooting out pointless ass commentary.
Can you imagine if he was on commentary during the Ron Killings thing? Oh my god,
dude, he would have been standing up with him, cutting his hair. It would have been ridiculous. He takes a spotlight from he's a freaking moron. Like, thank you, so Wade Barrett. Oh my god, it was such a refreshing Monday Night Raw. Show just carried so much better without Pat. Get Pat McAfee the fudge out of here. Dude is a waste of
Wade Barrett's fantastic.
You ever seen his show? His show, he's even worse. Dude, I don't know how that guy's. I don't know why obnoxious people become celebrities. All right. Now let's get back to the start. John Cena, CM Punk, promo, go. I'll let you start it. Let's hear it.
I loved it all. From a fan standpoint, anytime CM Punk and John Cena are in the ring together, whether it's verbally sparring on the microphone or just wrestling each other, something big always happens, magic always happens, and it is must-see TV. And this instance was no different. CM Punk brought up a lot of stuff about kissing the final boss's ass. He's not here for billionaires. He's here for the people, essentially becoming the new people's champion. Which I thought that was Cody Rhodes. He also said that John Cena's taking shortcuts, and Cody's the best we got, and you couldn't even beat him, fairly, or you couldn't beat him cleanly. And he said that he brought up the number of dates that John Cena has left, and he was like, I want one of those dates to be the time that I take the title off your shoulder. And John Cena brought it back to him and said, all right, you want the belt? You got to follow me to Saudi Arabia. And everybody on the internet lost their ever-loving mind because CM Punk, the anti-establishment CM Punk, is going to the country of Saudi Arabia, and he's a sellout. He's a hypocrite. Everyone's going at him, and I'm like, dude, like, A, yes, the match is officially booked, but we don't know if it's going to happen. There's still 3 weeks to build to it. 2, B, this could be John Cena's way of trying to ruin wrestling, right? That's part of his character. He even said it, he said it with a smirk, like, you want this belt, you're going to have to follow me to Saudi Arabia to get it. You're going to have to go against everything that you stand for, everything that you believe in to get this title off of my shoulder. And that's how I took it. But everyone on the internet just lost their ever-loving mind about it. And I don't know. We don't need to just talk about that any further. But I love this promo. I love this segment. From a fan's perspective, I'm excited about it. But from a logic standpoint, I don't think it makes a lot of sense, because the last time we saw CM Punk, he was getting jumped by Seth Rollins and his cronies on the last week's episode of Raw. Like we said before, CM Punk never got his revenge on Seth Rollins, didn't prevent him from winning Money in the Bank. He barely even acknowledged Seth Rollins in his promo at all. And now all he has to do is ask to get a title shot. Meanwhile, Cody Rhodes, who pinned John Cena at Money in the Bank, albeit because of R-Truth, Ron Killings, he pins John Cena. In order for him to get a rematch against John Cena, he has to win the King of the Ring tournament. So from a logic standpoint, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And it does feel a little bit random. It feels like we're just trying to cross a dream opponent off of the John Cena retirement tour list. And maybe this is the quote-unquote creative that got hijacked by the fans, and that Triple H is pissed off about, because maybe he wanted CM Punk and John Cena for SummerSlam, but now they have to give it to Ron Killings because the fans hijacked his creative and made him bring back R-Truth. I don't know, but this does feel a little bit random, and I hope it's not a one-off. I hope we get, I hope it's not a Saudi match and then he wrestles somebody else at SummerSlam and then he wrestles somebody else at the next pay-per-view and then somebody else at the next. Like, I hope it's a multi-match feud, but either way, I'm excited about it.
It is a one-off. They literally say it every single time John Cena wrestles somebody, for the last time.
True.
It is what it is. Look, number one, when you become an adult, I would assume, and when I say adult, I mean 21 and over, right? I'll even give you 25 and over. If you are on an app or anywhere in the world and you're calling somebody a sellout, you need to grow up. When you become an adult, there is no more selling out. You need money. So if CM Punk is going to Saudi Arabia and he said, no, thank you, I'm not going to do it, this and that, and TKO said, we'll give you $5 million, and he said, okay, that does not make him a sellout. It does not take it. We are adults. We need money to survive and to live. Now, if he got that money to murder somebody, okay, yes, that's a bad, but to go against a belief that he had, there's 57 wrestlers who would never. You're going to tell me that every single female who goes to Saudi, where they have no freaking rights and they have to be fully dressed, that's okay? All of them are allowed to do that. But CM Punk, because he made a tweet towards The Miz calling it blood money, now all of it is like my head hurts from how just. It might be some of these people listening, so I don't want to dog y'all. It's just like, hopefully you're under 25, because once you're 20, like as an adult, there is no more selling out. If I went to my job and they said, hey, you got to work 15 more hours, buddy, but we're going to double your salary. And I'm like, well, 15 more hours, less time with my friends, family, but shoot, I'm going to say yes. You get more money. That's what you need, money in this world. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. Let's stop saying we sell out. Like, I'm not even mad at Santi. The dude got paid, makes money. Now he pretends like the WWE is the greatest thing ever. Props to him. He's making that moolah, buddy. You got to make money, whatever. Bully Ray I'm not going to say that it's like a real podcast anymore, but they get paid to hype up the WWE. What the hell's wrong? We need money as adults. Let's stop. Sellout thing is when you're a child or it's a TV show. Nonetheless, I don't even know where I was. Oh, John Cena, CM Punk. So I do think, for one, I like this because John Cena is finally becoming a heel. It happened with Logan Paul. I knew it would. But this was a heel promo, man. He's done with all the nonsense. He's finally starting to embrace it a little bit. You said you didn't like it, but I do like that he's wrestling someone new every month. That's the wrestling I like. I hate when wrestling is like, yeah, you wrestle him, you got to wrestle Randy 4 times now in the next 4 months. And then after that, you're going to wrestle CM Punk 4 times and you wrestle 3 people in a whole year. I like that he's like, yo, these are the people I want. If you want me to be a heel, you want me to be champ, cool. But I'm going to wrestle who I want to wrestle. But here's the thing. CM Punk should have been his last person. CM Punk and Cena were in a feud many years ago. CM Punk had the belt. He was going to beat John Cena and take it to ROH, leave the WWE forever and never come back. Everybody wanted Cena to win because they wanted this and that, even though CM Punk wasn't going anywhere. John Cena's gimmick is that he has the belt. He's going to take it with him and be the last champion ever. That is like, what are you? You know how much money you would have made off of having that as your now it still could be. I don't know. Is it the last time ever? I'm liking this match. CM Punk cut one of the best promos he's cut in some time. I just think it should have happened. I just think, and it didn't even have to be his last match, at least right before he turns into a babyface again. Because you know he's going to be a babyface again before he's done. I just think, like, you know what I mean? I'm not saying it's like a bad decision to put it here. I'm just saying it would have been better to do it that way because you already had a story with it, especially if he's going down the road, especially if he's going to face R-Truth again. So it's like you could have had that somewhere else. But, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, and I don't mind Cena wrestling different people every month. I just wish that, like you said, I don't like the timing and the placement of this match. It feels like, okay, we crossed Randy off. Now we got R-Truth off the list. Now we got to get CM Punk off the list. We're going to get back to Cody. We're going to do this. And it's just like, I don't know. It just feels, this feels just random. It feels like, okay, we have to have a big main event for Saudi Arabia. What's the biggest thing we can get? Okay, CM Punk, Seth, John Cena.
Yep.
Perfect. Let's make it happen. Okay. And then SummerSlam, it's going to be something completely different as well. And I don't know. I just feel like these guys are too big of rivals to make it a one-off and too big of rivals to put it on a random show in Saudi Arabia.
I don't disagree with that at all. Spot on. Did you notice, though, when it was R-Truth versus John Cena, it didn't say the last time ever. So
it never did.
All right. No. Let's get but I thought it wasn't gonna work. All right. So Bayley returns. Looking like a snack. She had that Mercedes Moné hair. She came out and whooped up on Becky Lynch, who was verbally abusing Lyra Valkyria. And then Nikki Bella, looking like an absolute snack, makes a return, and she gets attacked by looking like a snack. Liv Morgan, we had the women's division booming, returns everywhere. I'll let you start. What did you think? Are you excited for these? What's your hype and your build moving forward?
I'm excited about Liv Morgan and Nikki Bella because I don't think it's going to be Liv Morgan and Nikki Bella. I think it's going to be the Bella twins against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, which is only going to elevate the women's tag team division even more than it already is with Liv Morgan holding the titles. So I'm super pumped about that. Bayley's return, I loved it. Don't get me wrong, but like talk about too little, too late, right? Like she comes out the night after Becky Lynch wins the IC title and attacks Becky Lynch when she could have come back at Money in the Bank and prevented her from winning Money in. Like I've never gotten that. Like why do they do that? Like you could have prevented her from winning it, and you guys could still have the IC title. But I get it. But like, does that put Bayley in the? Is it Becky Lynch now versus Bayley for the IC title? Where does Lyra Valkyria fit into this? So I'm excited about that whole dynamic and to see what they do with it. So I'm excited to have Bayley back as well. I think her return. I can't believe. I mean, she was gone at WrestleMania, and here we are in June. It's been 2 months. So I'm super pumped to have her back always. And I think they did her dirty this year. I feel like they kind of
they did
pulled her off at the last minute of WrestleMania. So I really hope she gets a good close to the year and has a strong, because she was killing it at the beginning of the year. She was thriving on Raw and on SmackDown, even on NXT. She was killing it. And then they just pulled the rug out from underneath her. So I hope she closes the year off really, really strong because she deserves it.
I fully agree. Well said. It doesn't. I did feel like Lyra felt like an afterthought though, because she was standing there taking a verbal ass whooping, and then Bayley came back and she just still stood there like, oh, okay, I guess I'm out. But the IC title needs this. It needs Becky Lynch. It needs Bayley. It needs like credibility. It needs this build up, and Lyra will get her turn and eventually win the belt back, and she'll be established by having this moment with these vets. Nikki Bella for sure is going to be a tag team match. I was upset that Nikki came dressed the same though. Like you're still like 12 years old. We're still rocking the backwards hat and a red jersey. You couldn't, like, Trish comes back, wrestlers come back. They look, you don't have to be the same. The music's fine, but the same exact character. Like, come on, girl. Flubbing Stephanie Vaquer's name. Poor girl. She did talk about that in her. She's like, it's just because I was running it in my head. And it's a hard name to say. You just got to think of Vaquer don't care. But what she call her, Vaquer? Vaquay or something. Yeah, something. It's all right. It happens. Yeah. She ain't watching the product. It's like I like that these pro wrestling fans think that like these people who are in the business who aren't there, they're not there because they're busy doing other things. They're not like you and I where they work a job and then go home and, you know what I mean, watch wrestling. Nikki Bella ain't watching wrestling every day. She doesn't know how to say the name. She knows who she is. She's seen her. Like, give people a break. But Liv Morgan, bro, whoo, she killed it, man. That was great. And I like that she lost, was like, all right, Roxanne, cool beans. I'll see you. And then went and beat up on neck. Dude, fantastic. Sign me up. And that tag match at Evolution, probably the end of Liv and Raquel as well. I'm assuming the Bellas will win those belts. But yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Let's end it with the controversy tonight. I'm going to let you start it off because I know how upset you are by this. I heard that you like yelled at your wife. You slept on the couch.
Kicked
you
my
like
dog.
called into work that, you threw your dog right into the street. You were just like fed up with it. Told your kids they don't get dinner. You were like just so furious with Jey Uso and Gunther match. I'll let you go. Who won? Let's spill the beans.
So we closed Monday Night Raw with a new World Heavyweight Champion in Gunther. He now becomes a 2-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and the Jey Uso experiment comes to an end at 51 days. A lot longer if you include his victory at Royal Rumble and the rise of Jey Uso through the ranks to become champion. But, oh man, this was the right decision, unfortunately. I think this was WWE looking themselves in the mirror and saying, you know what, like, we took a gamble on Jey, but he's just not that guy. That we took, we had him win the Rumble. He's still super over with the crowd, and he's gonna be completely fine. Like, contrary to popular belief, he'll either get a rematch, he'll be a champion again another day. He might even get a match next week against Gunther. Who knows? Maybe he gets his rematch, and that's when Goldberg comes out and costs Gunther the title, and then we get Gunther versus Goldberg, and Jey Uso gets his belt. I mean, they could do something like that to swerve us. You never know with the WWE. So, but yeah, and people are saying that it's because Goldberg's coming back, and I will say if they take the belt off of Gunther and put it on Goldberg at Saturday night's main event, Goldberg and WWE and Triple H are going to lose a lot of, like, you think it's bad now. They're going to lose a lot of good faith from the WWE faithful. Because, Goldberg ended the reign of The Fiend. Now he's going to end the reign of Gunther. And now Triple H is the one calling the shots. I think they're going to lose a lot of good faith if they go with that. And I have a feeling that's what they're going to do.
Goldberg. I actually like Goldberg. I don't know why everybody hates him. I
don't hate him either. Yeah,
I like him a lot. I think he did what he did, and
it's because he hurt Bret Hart. That's why people don't like him.
Allegedly. But yeah, have you heard all the theories, right? The real theories where Bret took like a head bump way before then, and that was the concussion, not the dang kick. But nonetheless, neither here nor there. I don't think Triple H and Goldberg are like homies or friends at all. I don't see Triple H was never booking Goldberg to be successful. So I don't see that. And I heard if Goldberg did come back, it's for his last match. I don't buy into it. Dave Meltzer said it. So it's neither here nor there. Whatever. But imagine a 2025 where in the WWE, John Cena and Goldberg are your real champions.
Yeah. I will say, like, if there's ever a time for AEW fans to counter-strike the WWE, it's then if they put the belt on Goldberg, because we're all elderly wrestling. Well, you have two old guys helping your top titles. So I'm just saying, just throw it back at him.
Yeah, but let's get into it. Gunther defeating Jey Uso was the right call. Number one, fans who keep saying WWE, all they do is listen to us, wanted a title change on Monday Night Raw. They complained title changes only happen on WrestleMania and SummerSlam. A shocking title change on Raw. That is stupid. So number one, we got a shocking turn. Tune in. Secondly, Jey Uso had a 51-day title reign. I get it. People say that's nothing, this and that. He had a title run. He tried. You know who didn't have championship runs in the WWE? Razor Ramon, Mr. Perfect, Rick Rude, Ted DiBiase. Shoot, like technically even Andre the Giant didn't really have a title run in the WWE. There are legends who have passed who were the greatest of all time who didn't have freaking title runs. Jey Uso got a title run. That's nothing to scoff at.
No.
Also, you can be the most popular. You can have cool sayings and quotes. It doesn't make you a top guy, and that's okay too. Not everybody is the top guy, and they gave him a run. He probably just didn't feel like it was ready. It could have been the booking. It could have been him. But nonetheless, they didn't think it, but he had a run. He had a shot. If he gets one again, boom. If not, he's not going downhill from here. He will be okay. Jey Uso will be fine, and he'll always be remembered as a world heavyweight champion. You cannot take that away, and he won it at WrestleMania, just like Kofi. Kofi ended it really bad. It was pretty embarrassing, but you know what? He had a title run. You cannot take that away from him. Bryan Danielson lost it in 2 seconds to Sheamus in WrestleMania. He was okay. Things happen.
Yeah.
You get quick championships. Jay will be fine. It was a shocking moment. That's the era we're in. Just got to get used to it.
Yeah, and I think fans, I made a video on TikTok about this, but we spent the entire, from January all the way to June shitting all over Jey Uso's Royal Rumble win, the build to Gunther and Jay, the WrestleMania, his booking as champion, his botches, his promo ability. We dog shat his entire championship reign. So now we're all mad that he lost the title. It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. I don't get why fans are so upset about it. But speaking of Kofi, I don't know if you saw, but after the match, him and Xavier Woods were seen backstage laughing at the fact that Jey Uso lost the title the way that he did, saying that, Kofi even said, I had 6 months. He only had, 50 days? Complete. So Jey Uso's going to be fine. He's going to get back with Jimmy, and they're going to go after the New Day, and they're going to breathe some life back into the tag division.
Heck
and
yeah.
That's going to be the match at SummerSlam, and it's going to be amazing. So I think it's going to work out for everybody, and Jey can climb back up the ranks to the title picture again.
Jay's going to be all right. Speaking of pointless complaining, let's get into NXT, because we finally got the name. We had a Sydney Sweeney soap bath water / Sabrina Carpenter type vibe character with one Mariah May, and we introduced her name as one Blake Monroe, and the AEW people came out in droves. They were so angry and peed off. The WWE refuses to allow people to have their own names, although every other AEW star that came over kept their own name, and they refuse to just do this, that, and they've come up with the dumbest names, and we found out that no, Mariah May didn't want to keep her name. She wanted a different name, and Blake is her niece. Monroe is because she did the Tony Storm, Marilyn Monroe thing, and then the internet got silent because they realized that complaining is stupid. But I actually thought the name rolls off the tongue. Blake Monroe, I think it's dope. I like it, and I like that she's still kind of keeping her Mariah, May, sexy, coming out of the bathtub. I like it. It looks like she's going to be the same type of character, a different name. Like I said, she could have called herself Poopy McPoopington. A name doesn't mean nothing.
No,
it's who you
right.
are and how you perform. Remember? He could never be Gunther. Walter's forever. Walter's the best.
Walter was
name.
such an awful name.
Shitty, exactly. So we got to stop, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Butch was one, but
yeah,
they don't always hit. They don't always. But he didn't die because of it. So, I mean, once again, names don't mean nothing if you're being pushed correctly. So, but nonetheless, I loved it. Well, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember I texted you. I said her name is stupid, but then I looked it up and I was like, oh, okay, it makes sense. I didn't realize the history of it. I was just like, Blake Monroe, like, okay, that's kind of. And then I looked up that Blake is her niece and it's Marilyn Monroe. I was like, oh, there's been worse names. Like looking at you, Lexus King. That's an awful name. There's been so many other bad names that have come out of there. Ty Dillinger is another one that always I didn't like that name, and now he's back to being Sean Spears. Thank God for that. Yeah, I don't understand why people complain about everyone's names being changed. At the end of the day, a name is just a name. It's what they do with it that matters. And I think Blake Monroe is going to kill it. That promo, and the other thing too was, I feel like all we're doing is railing on the internet today. But the other thing that people were complaining about was the promo was very Temu Tony Storm. It was very a ripoff of Tony Storm. No, it was not shot for shot Sabrina Carpenter's video. What did it have a little bit of Tony Storm-esque? Yes, but that's a huge part of her career, and that's a huge part of who she was and what made her. So let her run with it. Just like if they brought timeless Tony Storm over to NXT, I guarantee you she would bring some of that timelessness into NXT or WWE. It would be a part of who she was. So I didn't have a problem with it. I thought all of it was good.
If she would have came back as a whole different character, the internet would have exploded. We don't have to complain about everything. She's the same person she was in AEW. Like what? Like you would have been mad if she wasn't. You would have said, "No, you're going to ruin her. You made her a whole different. This is what worked. Why would you like what in the?
She's still the glamour. Yeah,
I'm
Same
so
gimmick,
like
everything.
I can't do it. All right, Obafemi defeats Jasper Troy in kind of a banger of a match. Defends his title. What did you think?
All right, I didn't hate the match. I thought the match was good. I just don't like these WWE Evolve guys and these WWE LFG people coming into NXT. And I know that he won LFG, so like the next steps for him is NXT, and I get that. But putting him in the title picture right away, like I don't know, that feels very, very forced. That feels very like I'm supposed to care all of a sudden. But also, you know, the first guy, Sean Legacy, competing for the NXT North American Championship against Ethan Page. It's the same thing. Like we shit on Ring of Honor or AEW for putting ROH titles on their show. To me, this is a little bit of the same thing. You're bringing guys who aren't on the NXT program over and giving them title matches over people who have been there for a while and probably are more deserving. So that's my rant on it. Didn't hate the match, thought it was good, and I think Jasper Troy has what it takes to be successful in WWE and NXT, and I think he's going to be good, but putting him right away in the title picture just didn't sit right with me.
Yeah, I fully agree, and I'll get into it more in our segment, but I mean, Obafemi is probably their biggest and baddest champion they've ever had in the history of NXT. He's hot right now. He's beating everybody. So let's put him up against a guy who just won a reality TV show, and I'm supposed to think he's gonna lose. It just was like let's keep this Obafemi freight train running. He doesn't need to be beating people who are 8 levels beneath him. Also, I guess it's probably gonna be like, well, you had to get eyeballs because LFG and they're renewed and this and that. Okay, because he wrestled in the main event compared to earlier in the show, I think a better way would have had him coming in and just beating fools up. Why didn't he have a squash match against some NXT nobody and demolish them? That puts eyeballs on. It's not like this was on like a PLE where more people are watching. More people didn't watch the main event than they did the middle of the show. So it's not like this was like a better spot for him to get eyeballs on him. You could have got eyeballs on him other ways. So I just thought it was really weird. I don't know what this does for Jasper Troy other than say he took an L to Obafemi.
Yeah, and it was the way like beating him up in the parking lot before the show. I mean, I get you're trying to
that made him look worse.
Yeah, but yeah, I completely agree because then he goes out and loses, and the whole spot with the referee, like, oh, he kicked out when he clearly did. It was just not a good. I mean, it was fine, but I don't want to see this anymore.
I don't know ever how somebody beating somebody up before the match and them losing helps them.
It doesn't. 100%.
You lost after getting an advantage. That makes you look worse.
Yeah.
I never got it. I never got it. But anyway, that's our week in review in WWE. Sorry to end on such a sour note, but it was still a great week. Like I said, that Monday Night Raw was one of the best ever. Shout out to you, Wade Barrett. Stay off my TV, Pat McAfee. All right, now it's time for our segment of the week. We have music. I think we do.
Lows, let's go. This is highs and lows. It's time for the list. Who's killing it and who should probably go and sit? You're the best getting listed up high as hell. It's for the lows. They can come up here and take a L. Yes, they got their fingers on the button, yeah. Never sweat the mid, just the best and who run it. I'ma let them chill, let them run through the list of names. This is highs and lows. Go ahead and do your thing.
Right, our man out there killing it like always. Let's get into it. We're going to give each other a couple highs and lows of this week's booking of WWE. Ryan, what's your first high of the week? I'm assuming we might have some similar ones, but let's see.
Yeah, my first high of the week is, let's see, which one do I want to go with? You know, I'm going to go with the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments coming back. Ooh. I think this was a really, really good decision. I wish that the pay-per-view was called King and Queen of the Ring as opposed to Night of Champions, because that kind of throws things off. Now you got to have title matches on there. Like when AEW did Battle of the Belts and they never had any titles defended. Didn't make any sense. So hopefully we're going to get Punk and Cena on there too. So it's going to be a good show. But bringing back the King and Queen of the Ring tournament, I was kind of worried that they weren't doing it this year. Because they hadn't really talked about it very much. And then the fact that they are bringing them back and the winners get title shots at SummerSlam just makes SummerSlam feel even more important, especially with it being 2 nights. I think that The sky is the limit for who could win the King of the Ring tournament. You had and it makes me think that maybe an up and comer might win this as opposed to Money in the Bank, because you already had the established guy win Money in the Bank. Maybe somebody like Sami Zayn, who's never won the world title, wins King of the Ring. Maybe Ron Killings, who's never won. He's a 65-time champion, 24/7, 365 title, but maybe he's never won world title, and so maybe he can win King of the Ring. So there's Aleister Black out there. There's so many other people that are involved in this that it's going to be a fun tournament. I don't really like the 4-way thing though, having to win 4 ways and then you get into the semifinals. That feels like a huge cop out, but I do like that they're bringing the tournaments back and the winners get title shots at SummerSlam.
Remember, last year, both winners won the titles at SummerSlam. So they're 100% right now with this new format. I agree with you. I think it's a good time. I like it. I think it should be old school, though. Do you remember olden days? The whole King of the Ring tournament was the pay-per-view. They wrestled their 3 matches. They get to the finals. It was all in one night. I think it needs to go back to that. I think people enjoy that stuff. And when you don't overdo tournaments, AEW, they feel important. And so if you can make a whole show, it doesn't need to be, why can't Night of Champions be called King and Queen of the Ring? And it happened in Saudi. There's no difference. Just make it a whole event and a night like that. I think it would work better.
Yeah. At least do the semifinals and finals at the very least.
Yeah. At least a double. I fully agree. All right. My high is going to be obvious. I'm going to get out of the way. And that's one, Ron Killings. Just the fact that work or not work, him coming back, having a new gimmick, a new name, cutting his hair, cutting a phenomenal promo. It doesn't matter. All we're doing is talking about Ron Killings, and I'm assuming whether it's a good one or a bad one, he's getting a push finally. We're over this whole stupid, I'm just a laughing stock, and he stated that. He has to be my high of the week, man. What a win for one Ron Killings, dude. What a moment.
No, Ron Killings, man. Like I said before, he's 53 years old. He's been with the WWE since 2008, I think. So, before his questionable release, or if you even want to call it that. But now, like at 53 years old, I think we can say that a star is officially born. I think if they continue what they did on Monday Night Raw, he is going to be memorable for the rest of his career as like the guy that he could do it all. I mean, you talk about charisma. Like R-Truth was pretty charismatic as the silly guy. Like every segment, people were always laughing. And they weren't laughing at him. They were laughing with him because he's just so damn funny. Now we're going to see how serious he can be. And you don't see a lot of comedy actors going into serious roles. You don't see a lot of serious actors going into comedic roles. And R-Truth is doing a little bit of both. And I'm pumped about it. I think it's going to be a fantastic thing for him. And hopefully it's reminiscent of what we got in TNA, because he was amazing in TNA. Everyone should go watch him when he was in a NWA World Champion, because he was great.
Yes, he was. All right. What's your second high?
My other high is Ethan Page. I just like there's really nothing this guy can't do.
Facts.
And I told you when we did our other podcast, like I was like, hey, watch out for this guy. Like Ethan Page is good.
You did.
He was my shooting star of the week multiple weeks because of how good he was.
Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back.
But man, like Ethan Page, like the guy is just he's so, speaking of charismatic, he's so good on the microphone. He's great in the ring. I've seen like video clips all over social media of him at WWE meet and greets and stuff. And he's still the heel, but he's not like the over the top jerk heel. He's just, he like one video that stood out to me was somebody in a wheelchair rolled up to him, and he like looked at his ticket and he was like, "Oh no, you only paid for a ticket. You didn't pay, or you only paid for a picture. You didn't pay for conversation with Ethan Page. So I'm gonna roll you on out of here." But by doing that, he was giving him exactly what he paid for by giving him the conversation. But he was still in character and still a heel, but he wasn't over the top and a jerk about it like other heels that can be a little over the top, like MJF at conventions. But I just think Ethan Page has what it takes to be great. He's great in NXT. I think he'll be great on the main roster. I think he could be a good babyface. I think he could be a good heel. But right now, Ethan Page he's killing it, and everything that he touches turns to gold. And
he's a natural, genuinely good guy. That's the best thing about it. He collects toys. Yeah. I mean, this dude is him. And I'm not going to say AEW fumbled, because I think that's the stupidest thing you can say when somebody goes over to the other organization and does great. That's like saying WCW fumbled Steve Austin. It wasn't even the same person. So, But Ethan Page is killing it, doing a great job. Well said. He's definitely a high For
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
All right, I got two obvious highs just to have some fun, but that's Naomi, man. She just built herself a star on SmackDown. The promo she cut, it made you know she was going to win Money in the Bank. She had a showing out. She wins the Money in the Bank, and this girl went from being disrespected, had to walk out of the company, made herself a damn star in TNA, came back to WWE because they were like, let's come back. You're a star. And they fumbled her and did nothing but have her lose after lose after lose. And like we keep talking about with other people who are getting airtime, but they lose all the time. So the WWE's burying them, Carmelo Hayes. That doesn't mean nothing, because look at Naomi. She did her time, had patience. That's what adults have, patience. And now she is having her moment. You know she's going to cash in successfully. This woman is it. And I'm excited to see where it goes. She's going to beat Jade. She's going to beat Bianca. When is she going to beat Tiffany? I can't throw a first pitch Stratton. When is she going to? It's just like, I mean, this has just stories written all over. And that SmackDown women's division is the hottest division, even more than NXT right now. It is hot, dude. Hot. So yeah, my high is definitely Naomi.
Yeah, no, that's a very solid high. And there's so many things that they can do with it. They could have Jade win the Queen of the Ring tournament, and and Naomi cashes in on Tiffany Stratton before, and we get Jade versus Naomi at Night of Champions, or at SummerSlam rather. You could throw Bianca in there. There's so many options that they can go with this. But yeah, Naomi, man, she is on fire right now, and I really hope that she's successful in her cash in. I hope they don't. I feel like they've been preaching that women are 100% with their cash ins, and now it makes me feel like that she might cash in and lose. I hope they keep it going, though. I really do.
She can't be the first one. No, not gonna happen.
I hope not. She better not be.
Lows of the week. Let's go. What you got?
I'm gonna go with. I have my list here. I wrote a bunch of them down. You know what? My first one might be a little bit controversial, but I'm gonna go with the Seth Rollins faction. Just right now, I feel like they've been great, but they're starting to feel a little bit forced. They don't even have a name yet. They come out to Seth Rollins' music. The only one that's getting any natural heat is Paul Heyman, and I feel like it should be Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed getting the heat, or even Seth Rollins himself. I don't know. Like they're I hate to compare them to the Shield because Seth Rollins was in the Shield, but that they're doing a lot of the same things that the Shield did. They're constantly beating people down. The blood, like they're pretty similar to the Bloodline as well. It's just, I don't know. They're just feeling they need something. They need a new theme song. They need a name. They need something to. Maybe they all need to win titles. I think maybe that'll make me like them a little bit more. But right now, like Seth Rollins has the briefcase. Cool. But who's to say that Roman Reigns doesn't stop his cash in? Who's to say that CM Punk doesn't interrupt his cash in? And then they don't have any titles, and then they're back to 3 guys with no belts. I don't know. They need something for me to really get the oomph behind them. So I don't think they're doing bad. I just don't think they're where they should be at this moment.
All right, I guess. I don't know. I like them. I'm digging them. I get the music, and supposedly they're on the way of getting music.
Supposedly.
And a name. I don't know why you don't already have a name and music plan. Maybe they haven't been around long enough. But yeah, coming out. I always hated when factions come out to the leader's music. Like, why? Like, you're not.
It feels like the Seth Rollins show as opposed to, I want it to be like Evolution, where it's Seth Rollins is the Triple H and Bronson Reed is Batista, and Braun Breaker's the Randy Orton type. Mm-hmm. But right now it just feels like Seth Rollins and 2 other guys. Yeah,
but they're still, I don't know. Paul Heyman's been pushing them pretty well. I don't know. I'll let it cook, but I'm actually enjoying it right now. I think it's good stuff. But we're all opinion here.
Yeah.
Here's one that might be controversial. My first low, Cody Rhodes being in the King of the Ring tournament. I literally saw those brackets and I was like, oh, who's in? And I scrolled around and I was like, is Cody? I know I just said vets need to win because they're going to get. I get it. The hell is Cody? Did he ever even get a rematch for his? Why is he? In the It does, and it automatically makes me go like, why the hell am I? Unless Ron Killings is in the tournament, you can put in my boy Karrion Kross. You can put in whoever you want. If Cody Rhodes is in the tournament, he's winning. Why that? You're gonna have him lose even in a 4-way. You're gonna have it like what are we? We put Cody Rhodes and he needs the King of the Ring. If people don't shit on this like they did when Brock Lesnar won the Money in the Bank and other things, then you guys have people's opinions don't matter anymore. Because if he comes and wins, and this doesn't get shat on, then we are the biggest hypocrite fans of
Oh,
all
absolutely.
time. I saw him in it and I was like, what? It like ruined my whole mood. I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to watch the women's. Maybe I'm just being a hater. But he doesn't need it. The dude can get a title shot whenever he wants. Like you said, he just pins Cena. Like, that's not enough. He has to go through the King of the Ring. He has to go through a 4-way and 2 more matches to get a title shot at SummerSlam. Like, what are we doing here?
That's what it didn't make any.
So stupid.
That's why I meant. That's what I said when I was talking about the logic of the CM Punk John Cena thing. All CM Punk had to do was ask. He hasn't. He didn't win. He didn't win the Rumble. He didn't win Elimination Chamber. He lost the main event of WrestleMania. He didn't qualify for Money in the Bank. But hey, I want a title shot. Okay. Meanwhile, Cody Rhodes had the title, dropped the title, pinned John Cena, doesn't get a rematch. He has to win King of the Ring. I'm like, huh? Like,
isn't it in his contract? Isn't the contract clause a rematch?
Supposedly, yeah. But Roman hasn't gotten his rematch either. To be fair.
Is he the secret person?
He might be. That would be awesome if it was. But no. I mean, the only thing I could see is Sami Zayn wrestles Cody Rhodes in the King of the Ring finals, and then Sami Zayn finally turns heel and beats Cody Rhodes, cheats to win somehow, and he finally gets his title shot. But then you have Gunther, who's a heel in the title. So I'm like, I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
But who knows?
I don't know either.
But I don't like it either.
What brand is Cody in?
SmackDown, supposedly. But
so he is. So if he did win, he would face Cena. Okay, just making sure because it said you had to. All right. I think it's dumb either way. But all right, what's your last low? Let's hear it.
My other low is I'm gonna go Jacob turning on Solo Sikoa at Money in the Bank. Okay. I liked it, but I didn't like it. Like it was. Again, I feel like it should have gone on a little bit longer. It felt like the straw that broke the camel's back was Jacob overhearing Solo in a conversation on SmackDown. But I don't feel like that's been enough. I don't feel like the tension has been there. Really, I mean, yeah, he brought in JC Mateo. Okay, cool. But without consulting Jacob Fatu. I feel like, I don't know, but yet you're still helping Jacob win matches, and Jacob's helping Solo win matches. It's just like, I don't feel like there was like any sort of breach of trust other than he said that he's all gas, no brains. And that made Jacob turn on him and say that he hates him. It was just, I don't know. It should have gone on just a little bit longer. Either whether Solo won the Money in the Bank or not, maybe Jacob could have inadvertently prevented him from winning it by knocking the ladder down or something. And then that causes more discourse. And then they finally turn and we get the match at SummerSlam. But, yeah, I just feel like it was done way too soon, and with the R-Truth return and with Seth Rollins winning Money in the Bank, we're not really talking about it very much right now. And I feel like it was such a big moment that maybe they shouldn't have done it at Money in the Bank. Now it's gotten lost in the shuffle.
I fully agree. I mean, obviously we'll see what happens tonight and moving forward, but I do agree. I think it was a little early, premature, just like me. All right, let's get into it. My last low is what we already talked about, and that's the NXT champs defending against newbies. Look, I get it, but Shawn Legacy getting a title shot against Ethan Page. We got Lainey Ray, is her name, getting a title shot against JC Jane, and then Lainey Reed, sorry. And then we got Jasper Troy. Look, I get this is a developmental program. I get it, but they're still the champs. You still have hitters, and I don't think it makes any logical sense to, once again, just grabbing these people out of nowhere, and unless it says, the LFG or whatever it is, winner of this show gets a world title shot at this thing. Okay, now you're hyping it, you're building it, but just to throw these newbies in, I don't think it's helping them. It's not helping the brand. I don't build these guys up. Have them wrestle other people. Have them work their way in. But you're really making it feel like NXT is a lower end show right now. You know what I mean? By having them just wrestle, and Obafemi is still the world champion of that brand. You know what I mean? Yeah. You didn't have anyone else. Shawn Spears couldn't wrestle. You have nobody that can step in. Like, it just, I don't know. I don't feel like it's a good move. I think we still need to make NXT feel like it is a superior brand, and it needs to be treated as so with the world champions. Like, JC Jane is already a laughable champion, so she faces off against Lainey Reed, who's a nobody and barely beats her. Yeah, that's helping JC Jane's cause as that big threat. Now she just looks more like a champion who doesn't deserve it. I don't know. It didn't do anything for me. I think it hurt NXT this week, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and like I said before, we we clown AEW when they bring ROH titles over to Dynamite and Collision and other champions from other brands like CMLL and some of the other pro companies they work with. We got to keep the same energy when NXT does it. I mean, LFG, I know they're all part of the WWE umbrella, but I don't watch those shows. I don't know, these characters don't do it for me. Like maybe when they get to NXT, I'll pay attention, but like I don't watch Evolve. I didn't watch LFG, so it really, to me, this just felt random. And the fact that, like you said, JC Jane barely beat Lainey Reed just says a lot about what they think of her winning the NXT title. She's just a placeholder right now.
Yep, for Blake Monroe.
That's right.
All right, let's get into it. It's our every week segment, our LVD, MVD, which is our least valuable, most valuable dude or dudette of this week of pro wrestling. Doesn't mean we love or hate these people. It just means they were the best or worst booked of the week in our opinions. Ryan, who is your LVD?
I was going to give it to Cody Rhodes because he has to go through hell to get a rematch, but we've talked about that enough. I'm going to give it to the obvious, and that's Jey Uso losing the WWE World Heavyweight Championship on an episode of Raw after 51 days. You know, it doesn't mean that I don't like Jey. He'll be completely fine. He's going to go on and do better things. So probably he could beat Gunther again. He could win the title again in the future. Like I think the future is more bright than ever for Jey Uso. People can't hold the belts forever, but I still think it was the right decision having Gunther reclaim that championship, and curious to see what he does with it because his first reign was clowned on too. So we got to remember that. But yeah, Jey Uso dropping the title with no cash in, no interference. He lost clean. It was a choke out. It was just kind of it was a weird way to lose, but Jey Uso still gets the LVD.
He's mine as well. And here's else why, right? The last month or so, he hasn't been talking during promos. He's looked scared and has weird facial reactions. He was not booked as a champion, and everyone knew it. That's why I was surprised by the outrage. And then on Monday Night Raw, they cut a promo package for him before his title match, and it was literally lamenting everything that he sucked at. It was, he lost this, he did that, he got pushed around. It was like literally, and he got beaten. It was like literally showing him being an unimportant champion, and then they had him lose. I was like, damn, whose copy did he pee in? Rumor has it that supposedly he hurt somebody and fans, and that's why he lost it because of lawsuits, which I don't believe either because the WWE allows him to do that walkout, so that didn't make sense. But nonetheless, man, I don't know if he's shitting Triple H's coffee or what, but I don't understand the way they had him lose. You know what I mean? It just was like a really weird build-up, and I don't know. It
brought his son out. Yeah, it was really
to have him for no reason as well. It was just, it was overall just a bad week for one Jey Uso.
Yeah, it was unfortunate because he was just in the main event of Money in the Bank, and they got a victory. But it was really Cody Rhodes and R-Truth that everyone was talking about from that as well.
He'll be all right, though. He'll be all right.
Yeah.
All right, who's your MVD? And on a high note.
I feel like it's obvious, but it's got to be Ron the Truth Killings making his MVD debut. This might be the first time he's ever been MVD on any show. No, definitely not the last, but certainly the first. But that promo he cut, I think we'll be talking about that for the rest of 2025. I think you can talk about Cena and Punk all you want. You can talk about Cody and the build to WrestleMania and Cody and Cena and all the promo battles that we've had. But I think that was probably one of the best promos I've ever heard. It was a great way to debut a new character and give us a new side of the R-Truth gimmick. And I'm excited to see what they do with it. I really am. I think the future is bright, and I can't wait to see where they go.
I fully agree. We had the same one. Ding, ding, ding. I also have Ron Killings. It's only obvious. Everything you said, we've talked about it. He's the man. Best week he's ever had. All right, let's get this show on the road. That was it. That was our LVD and MVD and our weekend review for WWE. Just a reminder that next week we will be on vacation. One of us will be at the beach. One of us will be on a lake. I'll let you decide. And one of us will be with our family and one of us will not. I'll let you decide. But nonetheless, we're going to have some fun. So we will not be able to record So sorry to all our Two Dude Wolfpack fans out there. You're going to have to take a week off without seeing and hearing these beautiful faces. And with that said, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like. Let's get these views back up again. And if you want to hear me go off, I'm cooking a little bit here and there. You can catch me at my_wrestling_opinion on all social media. And with me is my main man.
At Ryan Enjoys Wrestling. Go follow me on all the social media platforms as well. And go follow us on TikTok at Two Dudes with Attitudes. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Two Dudes with Attitudes. We're trying to climb up the ranks as fast as we can, but we need all the love and support. Everything is an algorithm these days, so help us crack the code and get up there. And then if you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, we appreciate all the love and support. Go drop us a 5-star rating and review, and tell everyone about your favorite two dudes on the internet.
Two Dudes Wolfpack, we out.
Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and our attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. A 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E. The two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on time.